Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Nick here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about DNT, aka District. I already made a couple videos on this project already, but I want to talk about some fundamentals and some project insight that a lot of people actually probably have not heard. And I really want to do a little bit of a deep dive into this, but nothing too crazy. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. But first and foremost, right now, District is trading at about 29 cents flat, and it is pretty much a frustrating hold for a lot of people, and I totally understand that. It's not for weak hands. I mean, it's one of those projects that you do just get tired of seeing it, and you're just like, all right, time to sell it and get into something else. Now, I will say this. I think that we are still very early in terms of the price point on it, and I think that's going to catch up to Civic and also Mana very soon. Now, Mana really just ran the entire airstrip for the USDC pairs to really fly. Um, Mana was one of those holds that I told a lot of people about, and I don't think it's done yet. I think that it still has a lot of room to move, and Decentraland is doing incredible things, and I think District is going to do pretty similar things, if not better. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that. I'm going to talk to you guys about some interesting things, especially if you are a District holder. Now, I know a lot of people hate on this project just simply because of the fact that they don't really have too much, going for them just in terms of like development and project innovation. And I understand that. I totally get that. And trust me, it's a concern of mine as well. But for the most part, I think that they're really trying to get some people to work on these districts as well as innovate the overall D0 infra framework. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So, nonetheless, let's do a deep dive in. So, we did get some news here that they are now included on the DApp list V2. It's nothing too crazy or anything like that. I just thought that that was kind of cool. They finally were able to, after about a month. That was when basically the V2 went live. So yeah, but nonetheless, I really want to talk about the fact that they are onboarding some new developers, and we could actually see that here. So this is their weekly update. Now, a lot of the information in here doesn't really matter to me, like the NFT giveaway that they're doing as well with like Meme Factory. What really is something cool to me is this point here, which is we are continuing to hire and grow our stable of developers. Now, this is pretty big just because I think that they need a team that, because I think the development team lacks a lot in terms of District. But I think that they really needed this to really push the project forward. Like for an example, the D0 infra framework is something that really needs to be built, and it needs to be completed very soon, in my opinion, for the project to really grow. And I'll tell you why. So, essentially, what the framework is, it enables simple creation of the decentralized marketplaces. The district creation platform will provide users with an easy to use interface to design and deploy their own districts to the District0X network. And that's what I was talking about in terms of like, you have these people who want to build projects on District's network. And I think that's where, the true value lies. Right now, District itself isn't really valuable in a way of long-term holding, because like, don't get me wrong, it's going to pump, but at the same time District doesn't really hold as much value as most do, simply because what its main use case is, it's really not live yet. Now, I want to really stress the idea that it's not live yet, because we're also seeing the same thing with Matic. Now, of course, Matic and District are two different things, but Matic is pumping very hard, and for the most part, the scalability is not yet live on Matic to the point where it could really compete with like Polkadot and Cosmos, like I mentioned in my last video. But I will say this: if the District Zero infra framework gets put into place very soon, then I could really see the price point going skyrocketing very high. Basically, anybody can create new districts, even if your idea is not accepted. You will still receive 250 DNT, which pretty much motivates a lot of people to throw their ideas up to see if it will get implemented on the District0X network. Now, I know that we haven't seen much from the team because I know that they were trying to get the meme factory back online, Ethlance online, and stuff like that. But for the most part, we really haven't seen much in terms of, project innovation and actual updates from the team. But I'm sure that they're still working pretty hard. They're trying to get developers, hired, and they really want to push this project live. Now, I'm really looking for this, which is the deployment of the D0X infra framework, because then we'll really see this project gain value. Because essentially, if your project meets their standards and you're getting paid in 250 DNT to pretty much just, throw up your idea here, which is, pretty much this is where all of the proposals for the projects will go. I think that if I go here, let me go to District0X, I believe that we could actually see, where is it? I know I've seen somewhere, you could pretty much just see the entire list of, yeah, so here. So this is the entire list of districts that people want to build on DNT, like for an example, this decentralized hospitality platform, which is housing and real estate. There's a bunch of stuff on here too. Like you could actually see, like this is from newest to oldest, but you could see some of them like gamify NFT art creation and collection. The sessions media DAO, yeah. And then they have a bunch. Like you could go through all of these. I know that some of these are old. But for the most part, like these are just some of what they could release on District. And I really want to stress the idea that, what gets listed on District will be massive for price as well as kind of getting that passive income. And I'll talk more about that as well. But for the most part, if your idea is chosen, then you will receive 500,000 DNT, which is pretty cool because I definitely think that it could go to $1 in time. Which, I mean, that's $500,000 for your idea just to get, built on, District. So, DNT itself emphasizes the idea of giving power to the holders. So if you're holding DNT, consider yourself almost like a board member, I would say, because on their website, I don't know where it is, but I know somewhere on their website, they basically say that the team is working on a way to put governance of the entire network in the hands of token holders, which is really cool because that means DNT tokens will also be staked in districts, giving you voting power and privileges within that district, which we've never really seen before in terms of, a project really giving us the power. And I think that's very cool. But not only that, but you'll be able to earn passive income from the network overall. And a good example of how that would work would basically be like talking about an auctioning district being similar to like eBay that gets launched on District, in which you could basically stake your DNT to vote on implementing a transaction fee for the platform. And this is actually pretty cool. Now, they don't really talk about stuff like this, but for the most part, you could build anything on here. And if somebody built something similar to eBay like that, where it does implement a transaction fee, even if the transaction fee was like 1%, and if like that district did the trading volume that eBay did, only 1% of it, then $20 million worth of DNT would be distributed to the token holders. And if DNT was staked in that district, then that would be about $1 per token per year, which is massive. Because I know a lot of people have been accumulating this asset since, like sub 10 cents. So, if you're getting $1 per token, like that's massive. Even at like 16 cents, I think that's like 600%. So that's crazy passive income. But not only that, but there's a lot that can be built on District, like services similar to like Uber, Airbnb, like I said, eBay, etc. So, District really helps those projects thrive as well because, you're going to see a lot of projects get released on District once the time comes that will be able to be more competitive than, Uber, Airbnb, eBay, stuff like that, because those are centralized companies that have to go through a middleman in which they have, large overhead costs and fees. With DNT, it's decentralized, so essentially, you won't have those high fees, so it could keep cost very low in terms of, really competing with those companies on a price point average. And we know that if you could beat, huge companies like that in price point, then there's no way that, it wouldn't grow. So basically, overall, District, as the platform grows, so will the value. So that's my biggest thing about it, is like I will hold DNT for quite a bit. I don't have like my life savings in or anything like that, but for the most part, I will continue to hold DNT, because the more that DNT is staked, once these projects do get live, the less DNT in circulating supply there is, which, even at 600 million, it's already at a massive demand with little supply, meaning, the price will increase overall. Now, of course, passive income on DNT will also increase significantly as more and better districts are developed. And, what I personally love about this project is the team, transparency. Like I mentioned in my first video on it, they do have a full name team. You could really just, I mean, at the end of the day, it's crazy how much this project has grown in the last couple, weeks, because we've seen them go from a team that, like, this is like their full team, by the way. You could kind of see that they don't have, a good enough developing team to really, push this project forward. So I think at the end of the day, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen them really address the problems with the project, which is the lack of development, and that's why they really want to hire developers, to really, speedline this project. But not only that, but this team's been very, overall transparent about the project, about what they want to do. I see that they already, increased their game on social. They have been tweeting a lot. They have been interacting a lot. They follow me because, I basically, chat about them a lot, but they follow me and they like pretty much almost all my tweets. So they have been very active overall on Twitter, a lot more than what I've seen, with them in the past. And I think a lot of these USDC pairs are actually seeing that same issue in terms of really being more active on, socials. Like, for an example, Loom, they decided to go more, active on socials as well, which it does help, definitely. But I think overall, District is a really good hold, just simply because, this project will grow. There will be a lot of demand for these tokens at some point. And I think that this year we're going to see some crazy moves by DNT. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that it's going to like $10 or anything like that, like crazy. But my eyes are on like about $2 to $5, because I think that that's a pretty decent point to get to, especially in terms of just market cap overall. And I think once some of these projects are implemented, I think that's where we will really see, price going up like crazy, as well as, the overall value being increased. But I do want to talk about what we are seeing here on the chart. So this is a chart that I made just recently. Now, I think that the point to really hold here is the 26.9, which is like basically the 27-cent mark, to about, I would say, about 27.5. Right now, we are trading at about 28.7, almost 28.8, and we have been a little bit stale in terms of just price point, considering the fact that, we were really moving up there for a while there before Bitcoin corrected. Now, I'm not too worried at all. I think that we are still going to go very, very high in, the coming days to weeks. But for the most part, the first target that I really want to be hit is about 35 cents. I want 35 cents to be hit and we actually go over it, because I think that's like a very strong resistance point from the past here. we really can't take it from this point here because this is where a lot of volatile price action started to actually happen. But back here we could see that that 35 cent range has been quite a bit of a resistance point to get over. But I think once we break that and break 36, almost 37 cents, I think it's off to the races again, where we could see price points of 45 to 60 to $1 plus. Now, again, this will take some time, and we are going to consolidate for a little bit. Like I said, we're going to consolidate probably in this pattern here for a couple days. It wouldn't take a whole month or anything like that, but I think for the most part by the beginning of May into the middle of May, we're going to see some really really good price average points where we will see what's going to happen next. Because right now, we're not getting crazy price action. I think once we do see some more price action, we'll be able to determine what's going to happen with it. And like I said, if you do follow me on Twitter and if you do, join the Discord that's in the description below, then you will be the first to know about that price action and where I see it going. I'm always trying to be transparent on Twitter as well as Discord. I'm always trying to be as active as possible. But for the most part, I just want you all to succeed. And I'm going to cut this video now because I think that we're definitely over the time period that I wanted to stay into with this video. But I really wanted to talk to you guys about what District truly is and why I think that the value is going to increase over time. I think that this is an incredible hold. I think that we're still very early, and I still think that right now we really haven't moved much in terms of price. So I think this is only the beginning. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we did move in price because we were at 5 cents and then we went to almost 50 cents. I get it. 10x is cool and all, but I think that we could probably do 100x from 5 cents, which is about $5. I still think that this has a lot of legs in it. I think that it's gonna be one of those showstoppers where we see it move and we're just in awe. I think Mana was a big move that we seen with that really gave us that point. So even if we look at Mana, I remember originally when the dip happened on Bitcoin, I said, hey, you guys really need to buy into this. This was back in March now. It was actually like right here where we seen like 32. Even like here when it was like at 17 and 18 cents, I was buying here all day long, and then we did get that skyrocketing movement up. And I think that this is only the beginning for Mana as well. I think Mana still has a lot of room to move, and I think the same is for District. These USDC pairs, they consolidate and consolidate and consolidate until they truly move up and do the next parabolic move that they really need to do. These assets have such small market caps, such small, circulating supply. I think it's only a matter of time before we see DNT truly move as well. But for the most part, if you guys do follow them on Twitter, they don't post too much, innovation yet, but I think it's just because they're really working on that framework getting live, because once that's implemented, then it's all about just really bringing those projects to adoption and push them out to the public. But nonetheless, guys, this has been Nick. I hope that you all have a beautiful Monday. We are seeing a lot of green in the market, which is great. I look forward to seeing what happens in the coming months. Here's to financial freedom, guys. So with that being said, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.